Respected Chief Patron, Dr. Pola Bhaskar Garu, Commissioner of Collegiate Education, AP. Patron, Dr. T.C. Ravichandra Kumar Garu, Principal, Sri ABR Government Degree College, Repalle. Honorable Resource Person, Professor T.V. Suresh Kumar Garu, Senior Director, Quality Assurance, Alliance University, Bengaluru. Fellow participants and faculty members attending the webinar from various places across the country. It is a pleasant morning to you all. I am M. Narsaya, lecturer in chemistry and additional coordinator, IQAC 3 ABR Government Degree College, Repalle. On behalf of IQAC, I warmly welcome you all to this webinar titled Outcome-Based Education. Outcome-based education is an educational theory or a pedagogy that places students at the center of an academic activity. This OBE process involves the restructuring of curriculum, assessment, and reporting practices in education to reflect the achievement of higher learning and mastery rather than the accumulation of course credits. Globalization has brought about a clear shift from education as transmission of expert knowledge to education as building learners' competencies, including learning to learn and lifelong learning. OBE focuses mainly not only on understanding the fundamentals of very well, but also on learning new skills and competencies that would enable individuals to cope with the rapidly changing workplace. This concept was coined by the academic and educational psychologist William G. Spady in the year 1988. Because of the advantages and the compatibility it has drawn the attention of the higher educational institutions. Higher educational institutions have been trying to imbibe and adopt this pedagogy called outcome-based education in their curriculum transaction to achieve the desired outcomes. Slating revised accreditation framework, Apex accreditation body, NAAC, initiated the paradigm shift in the assessment and accreditation process. Unlike earlier framework, this RAF throws more light on the outcome-based accreditation called OBA to scale the higher education institutions. Unless the facilitator or a teacher is acquainted with this concept, he cannot become the part of a fruitful teaching learning process, which paves the way for an higher educational institution to get a better grading as per the revised accreditation framework. In this scenario, raising the importance of outcome-based education in higher educational institutions, IQAC of the ABR Government Degree College, Repalle, has planned this webinar to enlighten the faculty of higher educational institutions with regard to OBE so that they can adopt this pedagogy in their curriculum transaction to make teaching learning more fruitful and to make all higher educational institutions achieve better grading in assessment and accreditation. With these introductory remarks, now I call upon able, seasoned campaigner, our beloved principal, Dr. T.C. Ravichandra Kumar, to address the with his opening remarks.
Thank you, Narsai Garu. So on behalf of ABR Government Degree College, Repalle, I warmly welcome all the participants and my beloved resource person, Suresh Kumar Garu, to deliver a good lecture on this outcome-based education. So all you know that now the NAAC accreditation is mandatory for every institution. In this, the criterion 2, that is the teaching learning process, is having more weightage, 350 points. All we know that. It is more than 1/3. In this teaching learning process, outcome based education is the one of the key factor to get more points in this second criteria. In this outcome based education, how to quantify the outcome based education, what is the importance and vital role of the outcome based education will explain our resource person Suresh Kumar Garu. Sir, please welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Please take your class, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your words and introduction of importance of NAC.
Sir, thank you.
Sorry for the both delays. Earlier, one of your professor, I think, yes, somebody contacted me, but I could not make it released because of other schedules. Because of now also one of your government university, some discussion was there. They asked a sudden meeting. That is why delay. Otherwise, I would have started.
Small submission, sir.
Yeah, tell me, sir.
Before you start the session, let us introduce you to the gathering, sir.
That is okay, sir. That is okay. See, if I am noble laureate also, it is waste for you know. Unless you get a good grade, see, every institution, see, government college research. Okay, anyway, formality means 1 minute only, don't, not details. Just 1 minute you complete, sir.
Okay, sir, thank you for that. Now I request Padmaja Madam to introduce the research person, Professor T.V. Suresh Kumar Garu, to the audience.
Respected dignitaries and esteemed faculty members. I'm here to present a brief introduction about the resource person for today's webinar, Professor T.V. Suresh Kumar. Sir has been currently working as Senior Director for Quality Assurance in Alliance University, Bengaluru. And he's also the Department of Science and Technology STEM Technical Advisory Committee member and NAC assessor. And currently he's also the member of NAC Manual Preparing Committee for the Open Universities. And sir is also the accreditation advisor for National Law University, Cuttack, National Law University, New Delhi, Vishnu Women's College for Engineering, Vishnu Dental College, Adi Shankara Group of Institutions, Chebroli Engineering College, Srinagar Institute of Technology, Chadalwadi Ramanamma Engineering College, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering in Telangana State, and various other institutions in India. And coming to work experience, Professor T.V. Suresh Kumar has over 30 years of experience as an academician. He has worked as a director for IQAC at Geetham, deemed to be the university, and he is also the registrar for academic section at MS Ramaya Institute of Technology, Bengaluru. And formerly served as also head of the department of Reader, Department of Computer Sciences, MS Ramaya Institute of Technology, Bengaluru. And he has over 127 publications in various journals and conferences. And he's skillful in preparing academic calendars, conducting academic council meetings, data gathering, processing, and formatting according to the government body requirements. And he has headed various institutional committees, statutory bodies like UGC, AICTE, MHRD communication, NAC procedures, ranking procedures, and even data processing. He is also an expert in OBE, and he has carried out various funded projects from DST, CASA, DRDL, DRDO, UGC, and consultancy projects from 7H Group of companies, MS Ramaya Memorial Hospital, and MS Ramaya Dental College and Hospital. So with these few introductory remarks, I will hand over to Sri M. Narsaya to proceed further. Thank you.
Can we start, Narsaya Garu?
Sir, please, sir. Please, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for your introduction. As I mentioned, the basic scenario in higher education institution is different. So one has to know about themselves about OBE. So other faculty knowing that it may not contribute to your institution growth or personal growth also. So coming to our agenda of today. Just we will brief about outcome-based education, how you need to implement, which is the key parameter as your principal mentioned, second criteria and first criteria, which is important for NAAC accreditation. It contributes significantly in total curriculum design and development and implementation. So way back, if you see, generally we were very happy earlier days of lecturers, very happy. Everybody was 9 to 5. They were working, going to house, seeing nice Dynora TV, seeing black and white TV. If they meet canteens during that time, they will talk about LIC policies or that. Nowadays, the situation of higher education has become such a miserable case. Every faculty now meet, they will talk about whether you are completed NAAC work or whether you are applying NIRF or whether you are going for other accreditation ranking, what is the status of your this one. Towards that end, actually why it is delayed means several government colleges started asking request if any of you form a consortium, just criteria wise I can give you some inputs, because individually time will not permit, as your principal told, it is compulsory from your government point of view, and shortly UGC also making that very clear for universities. For universities to affiliated, of course you are affiliated to which university?
Nagarjuna University, sir.
Nagarjuna University. So it is inevitable for all, not for that point of view. Actually, it do have a meaning. All the 7 criteria are developed, either National Board of Accreditation or NAAC or European. All these are some global level of education changes. That is why they made it 94 only. Some 7 criteria for us for better understanding. But essentially, every institution on 3 pillars. Remember that? Academic, administration and finance. These are the 3 pillars, not 4 pillars, 3 pillars only for educational institution. For government colleges, finance, you don't have a control over that. Finance, you don't have control over that. Administration, you do have control in the sense as per the what you call your government norms or university norms. Academics, we can do wonders. Of course, here also some maybe some research kind of thing other than which is not applicable to you, but reasonably academics we can do excellently. So in academics predominantly so many years, 2 decades ago only it started outcome based education, but slowly UGC also have come up with around I think 2010 or 12 with this. With that intention only, outcome based education is essentially in a single line. A student join your program, assume that BSc statistics. What abilities to acquire after staying 3 years in that program? It is called program, not course. When it comes to accreditation, subject is called course, 3 years degree is called program. Okay. So what are the abilities? Ability means mental or physical power of an action to perform a task. That is ability definition. So what abilities we are visualizing for him to demonstrate at the end of 3 years stay. Now, what are the global changes which we talked? Global changes are your customer means your student need to be globally sellable. So he need to get job. He need to get some research. He need to go for higher education. So without that ability, see, globally he cannot compete. Again, he has to undergo some courses like in Bangalore or in our Amirpeta, or do some other course, spending lot of not required. Our education system is well balanced, where you can incorporate several abilities through outcome-based education framework, and they are sellable. They are highly a demand if it is properly implemented. Because teaching learning, as I mentioned, no, it is an excellent way of processes are excellent, especially government. This is not a rocket science. Government colleges, you would have come with several competitive examination. It is not that much easy. So definitely knowledge is there. Only the point now the new buzzwords come, accreditation, that this one. These are all not rocket science. Very easy. Only thing is mindset and towards that looking into that concepts. That is my experience. So coming back to our this one abilities, what are the abilities for a 3 years graduate in BSc statistics? So you need to list out. UGC given some helpline. However, they are very exhaustive. You cannot prove that. How you prove that ability student got? Generally, we do have only one format, question paper based. You will declare some 90%. Now it has shifted to grade because nowhere across globe percentage 85.9. In our days, our mark list 85.9% is the marks. Then we say that is some first class with distinction. There is 0.9. This distinction between any numbers, no value. To know the ability of a student, that is why they shifted to grading. 90 to 100% yes grade, some grading system by universities. Because you cannot measure anything pakka. Suppose physics I will get 100 out of 100. Do you mean that I am master in physics? No. Within limited class hours, within limited time, within limited resources, whatever content you are imparting on a student, that only you are assessing. So, then you need to have a separate mechanism. You need to have anybody doubts in between, we will interact, no issue. You can stop me after I open the slides. We need to prove the abilities. One of the paper based exam, assignment, quiz, laboratories, all we are listing out some abilities. These are the courses through which he can go, these abilities he can acquire. It may be curricula or co-curricula or to some extent extracurricular activities. So this listing out of abilities or outcomes is the prime concept of outcome based education. Ability is to be demonstrated by student. We are only facilitators. That is why one more buzzword has come. It is student centric. And even if you are PhD gold medal or MSc gold medal, you are unfit for teaching. Totally wrong. We are facilitating him to go get those abilities because those abilities not required for you. You are already employed. So he need to get those abilities. In such situation, how the teaching learning process you are addressing, how you are designing your lesson plan, how you are designing content. Of course, contents are defined by experts. That is why generally we come back with the normal board of studies, academic council. That minutes also required for affiliated college. You need to get from affiliating university for 5 years. If you are applying now, that will come later. But coming to our workshop, these are the outcomes need to be listed out. So now I will share you the slides. We will enter into the okay. So instead of worrying about, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, now. Yeah. So what is essentially we meaning is why it is required means, as I told, it is required towards accountability of student. Because students are only marketable, not we. So we are only this one. Industry needs. This is also another buzzwords. Industry, academia, bridge is there, gap should be filled up. Never it can be filled up. Never. Don't entertain any workshops on that. My experience is industry is project dependent, product dependent. That will change time by time, minute to minute. We cannot make our curriculum minute to minute curriculum. Only we will give you as a springboard. With that help, they can go further and they can they have to acquire some lifelong skills and go into that. So maintaining some academic standards important. That is why this outcome-based education framework has been implemented, and there is a guarantee that your stakeholders, you are satisfying that yes, I am following this one. These are the abilities. Now you can go through the abilities and you can join your work. That is the philosophy. Okay. So I am not going into this kind of thing. There are issues in teaching learning. That doesn't matter. Those are not issues. Actually, this people will say that no issues. Now what we are teaching is because of ability. So that is, it is not what now. It is what students should learn those abilities to be after 3 years, through which he can demonstrate through syllabus books, co-curricular, that means some skill value added courses you may conduct, some certificate courses additional, because with limited subjects, he may not be in a position to acquire his ability. So you may feel that some value added courses may be mapped into that. Then other assessment techniques, co-curricular, extracurricular also possible, right? So that is why it is a student-centric learning. Even though still we are preparing students and exam-oriented, as I told, there is no meaning of difference between 80.9% and 81%. So that much accuracy of measuring, even in instrumentation, it is not possible. Slowly we shifted to grading system. Basically, students need to do more challenging one. Why challenging one? Whatever you teach in the classroom, not applicable in working environment. They don't have any laboratory experiment, what you call a chemistry lab or physics lab, that will never be there in real situation. But you need to educate them in such a manner that they are expected to do more challenging tasks. Tasks are highly uncertainty, no fixed solution. Give 1 + 2, you will get 3. Never. Situation is different. If you look into the establishing what electrical power plant is technically is very less. You can get instruments and fit in there. But legal problems, environmental problems, environmental audit, so many are there. So it is not that much easy. Economics, how much ultimately? So the way we teach subjects need to drive towards the uncertain situation problems where that case studies will help them to acquire. That is what one of the key parameter of OBE. So this is the framework. In outcome-based education, curricula must be outcome-based. That means curricula should spell out what abilities student will acquire at the end of the program, point number 1. At the end of the course also. At the end of the course also. So that we have to mention in syllabus book. That is why in syllabus book, every program must have program outcomes and every course must have course outcomes. Suppose if it is economics, subject economics paper 1, what are the abilities? Generally don't have too much copy from UGC all this one, because you have to prove that abilities whatever you listed out. So my suggestion is go for 5 abilities to be demonstrated by the student. I will show you one example. Then I will conclude how to write that course outcomes. Okay. Now, outcome-based curriculum must contain all abilities to be listed out with the course, with the program, 3 years degree. How you are going to teach that? What is your teaching learning process to achieve that one? This is the Herculean task. See, intrusions in situation like in our higher education system, it is not possible. But what authority says is, you try to reach to the maximum extent of outcome-based teaching learning process. Maximum extent. Once you put it in your course, assume that you are teaching some political science, paper 1. In that you listed out some 5. You design entire your content around that, or content is around COs. Now on that, whatever you do that, whatever your teaching learning process, you can easily assess it. The assessment techniques may be vary. The assessment techniques will vary. See, to my understanding, these liberal arts education, people will think that they are not. Now, abroad or in India, if you see, several universities are coming on liberal arts. The point here is, the way you teach liberal arts subject is different. The liberal arts subjects do have social sciences, humanities, computer science, all these. The way you teach there is different. The way you teach for engineering graduate is different. For example, if a person counting system is you are explaining to a student in a typical computer science. So countings or mathematics class, you will say that what is the counting system, definition of counting system, numbers 1, 2, 3. Then what are the things developed over counting system, like that you will mention. But when it comes to liberal arts students, correct? One example I can share, per minute 60 seconds. But liberal arts, you cannot talk like that. Liberal arts, you have to say why 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. Why not it is 100 seconds? Even I surprised when I read this. There is a history behind 100 seconds, why not taken, why we have taken 60 seconds. So such kind of teaching learning process is there. So accordingly, if you assess, now you can guarantee that curriculum you started, new problems, then you reasonably taught out like that, either through your courses or through certificate courses additionally by evening classes of 30 hours or something. Then you are assessing. Then you are assessing through question paper. So many methods are there, assessment tools, so many are there. One Roger who developed this assessment methods, he quotes that triangulation method. Any method which you can prove more and more, several methods at a time you can adopt to a course to prove his ability. But that much workload in a typical scenario in our jobs we cannot do. So some standard procedures which normal all institutions are following, you are also following. So these are the general implementation whatever required. Program educational objectives essentially, this I think in NAAC parameter they have not mentioned, but to make you to complete understanding, if I am a program owner, I will define for my program BA Economics or BA Statistics or BA BSc MPC, what are the abilities? What is my visualization? My guessing is like this, not my guessing, my expectations are like this about my program. Then you will start admitting the students. So that expectations, intentions are called educational objective. Anything is intentionally is objective. Anything after participating is called outcome. Okay. So how you assessment plan, how your all these things are the implementation of OBE program. So basically, as I told, these abilities can be only either knowledge, which may be obtained, it is an education obtained through observation or facts, skills and attitudes to be attained by students, not by the faculty. So you have to see such a manner how your lecturing method is complementing to your traditional lecturing. That is the only crux of the problem. That doesn't mean the teachers are this one. This is the SPADI. What he says is you can go through that. Self-reading, you can go. What essentially he says is actually he has written several books on that. They are termed as a father, but he only claims that he is not father of outcome-based education, because in earlier days, these skills, if you see Arjuna or history of Mahabharata, in Gurukula, some Dronacharya trained some 10 students. He will prove that he completed his course through assessment of skills. Yes, something he arrow means something arrow, or some other fighting is some other. He only assess. Now he can go for fight. He can protect the country. So such kinds is there earlier also. Those are only outcome. How he knows a fighter is a fighter? They used to do several fitness courses also. Correct. Fighter cannot be a fighter overnight. Only simply knowing the techniques is not a fighter one. Correct. We cannot go and fight with some like Vijay Deverakonda movie. It is not that much easy. For that fitness you have to show attitude, stress management, sponsors, all this together, then comes to this one. What essentially I am saying is, to say that his ability is a fighter, underlying several courses are there. Underlying several courses are there. But anyway, Spady coined that. And he says that it is not outcome based now. A recent talk by him. It is ownership based empowerment of student. Okay. That is the latest, just for information. But traditionally we have to use this only for all our. So your college is started with some vision and mission. Suppose if your college is not started with a vision mission, you have to adopt from your affiliating university. From that college only will give you why they started that program, BA economics or something. That is program educational objectives. From there syllabus they will give, because you are affiliated college, you don't have a choice of having your own courses. From there your movie starts. You start implementing outcome based. That means syllabus book you take soft copy. Over top of it you need to design your course outcomes. How to write course outcomes at the end of the session, just I will tell you after discussing the bridge, which is the bridge taxonomy, Bloom's, which bridge the gap between the ability statement and implementation statement. However, you can show this kind of diagram. So of course these are all generally, this is also the ingredients. Ingredients are our courses. You may call it as separately by name, all courses, but ultimately that is the ability marketable our student. Okay, our student. So essentially some 4-year course means 12 program abilities you can list out. From there you derive your course 1, course 2, course 3, all the things you have to derive. Suppose, can you now anybody tell what are the courses in our college? Courses in your college, can anybody answer? Generally
BA become BSc.
Yeah, so you are having syllabus book, correct?
Sir, all the traditional courses we have, sir, at our college.
That is why, sir, conventional courses are there now, already they molded into outcome based education. So now essentially from that point onwards you have to write course outcomes, program outcomes. If they have given okay, or UGC given more exhaustive, you can trim it, use it. For a 3 years better, you can have some 9 program outcomes. Okay, every program outcome will drill it down to some courses. Some program outcomes will not be in the form of courses. They will be lifelong learning. Lifelong learning means you are providing the student an opportunity to independently deliver any topic on his own without intervention of the faculty. So such kind of thing you have to do. If it can be done, it is more effective for you. Okay. Yeah. Any doubts, you can interact. Any doubts? Just outcomes or abilities we need to list out. We are affiliated, we are entering into our syllabus book. I got from that point, you can, up to that point, any doubt you can ask me.
Good morning, Suresh sir.
Yeah, good
Hello.
morning, sir.
This is RVS Prasad, retired teacher
Yes, sir.
from statistics. This is
Very nice.
RVS Prasad,
Yes,
a
very nice.
retired teacher
Sir,
from
Garu.
statistics. Yes. Sir, during my service, I faced a particular problem of the quantum of syllabus in each subject. The quantum is because the quantum is very high, because the course completion time is limited in semester system. All the objectives are not reaching, the outcomes are not reaching. And at the beginning of your lecture, you told a beautiful sentence. That is, what are the objectives of learning statistics? In fact, learning the statistics gives 4 different objectives: collection of data, its analysis, its presentation, analysis, and interpretation. Unfortunately, even after completing the course, the student is unable to prepare a questionnaire, which is most important in collection of data. How to overcome this problem? And in fact, most of the universities or colleges are facing. Can't we reduce the quantum of syllabus, and can't we limit the syllabus, the size of the syllabus, so that we can give quality education, which leads to some practical approach? This is my doubt.
Yeah. Very good doubt. That is what I told in my earlier 2 minutes back. There is no question of filling the gap between industry and academia. Point one. And all we are having limited class hours of some 52 hours or 60 hours where we have to deliver talk, where we have to teach them, where we have to examine them, declare the results. So it is completely board of studies onus where you must take care based on number of hours. That is why credit system, if 3 credit system means how many hours class contact hours required or lab contact hours or self study hours, that is well defined in the literature. To some extent easy adopted. To answer your question, why it has been very more, this one means it is totally BOS responsibility. Unfortunately, the functioning of BOS, they feel that if they write a textbook, actually nowadays textbook based syllabus writing is very wrong. You have to go to what you call Naukri.com. All the roles they are playing, statistician outside the after graduation. From there you have to derive your subjects, subject contents. So hope for the government universities, private universities, yes, they are doing reasonably trimming the syllabus. But whereas government university traditionally they are not revising, some of them, I am not telling all of them, some of them not revising. Definitely in my next slide it is there within limited class hours how to address that. To reasonably you can address, but you cannot rule out this kind of dumping total. That is what one of the other side of the coin of the literature. You are only designing the syllabus. You in the sense board of studies of a university. You are only admitting students. You are only teaching students, and you are declaring that they failed. It is ridiculous. So literature says that you only admitted them, you only taught them. Now you are declaring he is unfit. Whether teaching learning process is wrong, as you mentioned, the syllabus is more, which is correct. Still, it is a debatable in government universities who are all following traditional syllabus design methods. That is only. For the next few slides, I may answer further, but we are helpless. It is that is why some value-added courses you may need to consider. Actually, that is the reason in some of the value-added courses. Okay, so
Okay, sir. Okay.
I have convinced you reasonably.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the actual projector. A typical university, if it is a university vision mission you have to adopt. Top right side you are seeing graduate attributes. That is you have to define what are the characteristics after participating 3 years degree course he must possess. These two are the inputs to design the abilities of that students. From there you are designing all your stars courses need to be mapped. So this way typically you need to design your course outcomes. Having said that, don't again a typical faculty is always we look for accuracy of answer. OBE is in true sense is not implemented across any institution as per SPADI itself, the father of OBE. So some technical terminology which we will see later. I will share with mission how what are the typical. But for our interest is program outcomes. You can go through that technical definition. So basically, knowledge, skills, and attitude is very important. If a student, suppose you projected that he may become a police officer, attitude also matter. Okay. So all these need to be imparted to a student when he comes out of the program. He may be very good or he may don't have anything. That is not a appreciable scenario of your curricula. That is what literature says. This of course specific outcomes or course outcomes definition you can see. All are statements only. Please understand here the level of the statement globally whatever. See global statement if I give program outcome, the student will be able to demonstrate some kung fu techniques, technique 1. That is the global statement. Okay. So that kung fu 1 technique comes under 3 courses may be there under that ability. One course may be fitness course, another course may be some meditation course, another course means real what is the technique after this one. These three are the courses. So you are drilling down that statement to micro level. That is what it is called of abilities. So these are the course outcomes which are narrower statements that describes students, they are expected to know and can do, demonstrate. So definitely all these are related to the skills, knowledge, behavior of that student. Okay, so even if he's kung fu is he knows every technique, when exam comes you may be seen so many students are depressed or suppressed, something like that, right? So they may be stressed in the examination. All this, it is the responsibility of this outcome based defining abilities. When you are defining, you need to take care of all of them, because we should not ask them after completion of 3 years join some meditation course and you become fighter. No, when he joins in some fighter course for 3 years, it is your responsibility to design the curricula, teaching learning process and the abilities. So generally in statistics they have defined because what I have seen the flavor, this is UGC, not my any other literature from our Indian literature, UGC only. You can go through that, what are typical characteristics of a statistics. The problem here is, as rightly mentioned, drilling down it will come to several subjects, which is impossible with a limited semester system, classrooms, environment, assessment, exam results declaration, academic year calendar. No, it is not possible. That is why to the maximum extent you can condense, their subject experts will come, which is relevant for the 3 years course, which requires this ability, that is sufficient. After going anyway, now he will see that industry, it is a springboard to join any profession. 3 years. Within 2-3 months, we have to design courses such that within 2-3 months, he must be in a position to jump into the job. That is why majority, if you've seen some of your children or somebody, if they join any software industry, few months training they will give to project specific. To understand those concepts, whatever you taught at the degree level, it is at most important. At most important. So you should think all this one, critical thinking, all these things are required. Just you can see, you need not mug it up, please understand. Just I want to take you to the philosophy, how the program outcomes are derived from graduate outcomes. Okay, you need to have a sufficient input for that, no? For statute, what is the input? Government I have taken, whether it is correct or not, that is debatable. Government we have taken, because you are bound by UGC norms. UGC norms are bound by this university. So with these characteristics or Bahubali characteristics or Lakshanas, you have to derive your abilities of the student for a interestingly, nobody knows who have written this, what is reflective thinking, all this they don't know. How you prove that? Simply it is not mentioning characteristics. You cannot say after 10 years he will prove himself. Then what is about your degree? During your stay, you have to prove that he is having a reflective thinking. How you will prove? Which is very difficult. How whether student is having his creative thinking, impossible. Only we are having question paper based, we try our level best to fulfill. Okay? Yeah. So these are all multi-conference, all this. UGC it is available, or I will share this one. But coming to our regular business, they call it as program learning outcomes, don't worry, program outcomes. Even this is also more exhaustive. Don't use this much, only you can use 9, maximum 9, 7 to 9 you use for your degree program. Why I am informing at present? No, next you may get the attainment calculation, which is a nuisance. If you are 15 attainments, you have to prove through courses. So these are the outcomes for statistics. Demonstrate the ability. Always you have to start. Program outcomes or course outcomes is the term. Student demonstrate the ability. That is a common word. Then you write what he is getting. Skills in statistics and different practicing areas for formulating, taking statistics related problems and identifying the appropriate principles and see like this wide range of problems. This is you cannot fulfill. Impossible. Limited classroom hours. You will define problem A. That problem only will be in exam. That problem only will acquire marks. But in real situation, the application of statistics is wide range. In fact, that is the number one field in software industry now, where for entire business they are using. Actually, unfortunately, they are not informing in business terms. Statistic people need to think it is highly useful for business logic. Okay, acquire. So these are all the listed. You can remove that what you call that 1, 2, 3 subheadings. You can have separately like this. You can have, but more if I say it is more. You can have very simple 9 extracting from this. That is sufficient. Same thing for others also. UGC given more. This one. So what essentially I have done is just I represented what this one. I have not disturbed the UGC given because under 6 only 3 Roman are there. 1, 2, 3 Roman numbers. Here 2. Here 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are there. So 6 plus 3, 9. 6, 4, 9. 9 plus another 2. 11, 12, 13. It is approximately, it is coming around 20. Which is not appreciable, it is not possible. You have to prove no. Simply if you say that my student is having abilities, nobody will, you are providing him a certificate. You have to prove that. So it is inevitable. Then we have come across, these are the some descriptive statistics subject if you take. Here they have given 6, but you can take it as a 5 only recommended. Now I will stop here, just you ask definition. Just you see that you ask any doubt on course outcomes. How to write course outcomes only, I will continue next. Any doubt you get, this is a descriptive sample. Similarly, if you are having your own subject also, you can ask doubts. Is it clear for you for outcome based education? Why it start, that framework slide is important. Take away from this is that framework. That slide is important. Outcome based curricula, outcome based teaching learning, outcome based assessment.
It is very clear, sir.
Now, having said all of the stories, we are very familiar now how to copy characteristics from graduate to make it 9 program outcomes. And we are also very clear that from UGC how to write program course outcomes. I am teaching descriptive statistics courses, but better I recommend only 5 only. 4 to 8 you can write as per literature, but confined to 5 only. Okay. In fact, the way it writing is not correct. I told you no, some are outcome based literature, it will not appreciate. Okay. Like this, various this one it should not be there. Knowledge of other types of data like waveguides, insights. What is insight? That all that should not be there. You should be very specific when it comes to statement of course outcomes. Specificity. Global level attributes you can define with broader sentences, but local level not possible. So towards that end, how to take you to from global to local, Is this visible? No, is this visible?
No, sir. Yes, it is visible.
So what essentially we need to think is how to make the statements carried from program outcomes can well be stated in the form of course outcomes without losing the meaning. Suppose program outcomes statement is one meaning, your course outcomes like whatever I have shown is another meaning, and the testing is in another meaning. So whatever you promise is not a scientific, it is not a logic. That is why Bloom's, Benjamin Bloom's, a famous one, and interestingly he was board of examiner, not board of syllabus. They developed very long back, 60 years back story. 60 years back, these global level specific statements, the abilities to carry out further to fix up the OBE framework with proper statement and vocabulary, what kind of statements we need to give with respect to students. So when you are talking about the student, how his abilities can be captured, what is the communication tool that I am promising something, he knows something, both are same. So they formed, and interestingly, one big project was there. That project they considered only knowledge. Knowledge means content. Content means noun only. Okay, in a subject, the headings are noun, correct? That is called knowledge. Against which a student will think. Against which a student will think. So he designed a framework, or specific part of a framework is called taxonomy, which essentially takes you to the broader statements to understanding of broader statement. In fact, how to write that proper statement without compromising the meaning of abilities. That is what he helped, and a bigger group, psychologists, psychiatrists, publishers, all were there in his team. But later, it is a 1954 story, his story. Then later something he developed around, later his student who worked, his colleague and his student who worked with him, designed. It is not only knowledge, only one dimension or one parameter to consider. When the content is looked by a student, when he sits in the classroom, what is the cognitive aspect he is looking into the content? Cognitive aspect means mental power of an action. What is the mental status towards that content? Because every student will have different backgrounds and different heterogeneous languages, previous knowledge will be there, without knowledge, with knowledge, all this heterogeneous group we are teaching. So what way he is looking into these contents? With that, he thought that you can well define these abilities with my taxonomy, which called as Bloom's taxonomy. But unfortunately, at that time, he revised the knowledge dimension, added another dimension, cognitive. He added actually, by the time it is materialized and printed in the form of book, he died with Alzheimer's. His student Anderson developed this, and subsequently is a great this one. What essentially his meaning is, anything if you can easily see flying birds, but you know what it is, the meaning of that one you know, but when it comes to education abilities, you don't know. There you will say flying birds, capability you know based on something you are defining, but when it comes to student it is not there. Then he felt that some taxonomy is required. 1 minute, it is correct. So he felt that for education there must be proper defining abilities, taxonomy must be there. So I don't want to go this one, this is all a long discussion on that. But having said that, knowledge, skill and cognitive aspects, we cannot measure the affective domain. That attitude domain, reasonable extent, it is difficult. Even though if you say, nothing can be measured. That is why Sunday magazine, any magazine, if you see, they will give some 10 questions. If you put some 8, this means they say you are a very good human being. If you tick 5, okay, human being, less than 5, bad boy. So it is easy for you to manipulate that one. A bad boy can become good boy can become bad boy. So the literature and research on how affectionate towards his content, please remember that all these domains are towards content. You cannot measure it. So that literature is not that much. Similarly, psychomotor, There is no psychiatric, psychological towards that subject content. If I do laboratory experiments, I don't have any attachment to the devices which I am using. Okay, except the person who gives us some slip or a cheat, that laboratory attender or laboratory faculty or my friend, I will be more affectionate towards them. Okay, so this is literature is not there. Later when I am saying literature is not there, so how a student thinks cognitively, that he took consider and he developed the a framework. Okay, this is his statement. 1949, even after 70 years, it got translated to 20 languages across globe, popularly used. However, this is not the only taxonomy. Several taxonomies are there. However, this more closely represents the abilities of global attributes can be transferred into proper statements. That statements, again, you use the same taxonomy, can transform into courses. That statements can be properly written without compromising onto the meaning of the statement. This is what our one of our participant asked me. This is the question. He started itself his project. What is important for student to learn in the limited school and classroom time available? That is the learning question every BOS member need to have. It is not great that if you put 100 chapters and ask me to read, see, that is what majority times some colleges I have seen. Maybe you are exempted from that. Some faculty will go to laboratory, whatever not taught in the classroom, they will try to ask that question and prove their own knowledge, which is wrong, which is unethical towards students. You trained a student for a fighter or for a athletic for running 10 kilometers per 10 minutes, but you are asking immediately during assessment 50 kilometers in 10 minutes, which is unethical. You promised 10 kilometers, you have to see how accuracy is. So, limited classroom hours, whatever the contents, in fact, all you can represent, you also may be board of studies members, definitely limited classroom hours, how much can be treated sufficient, remaining industry will take care or other organizations will take care. How you plan your delivery? You have to plan your delivery, no? Class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, class 5. This is important for NAC. You have to prepare course plan, course delivery document in criteria 1. Okay, that is the instruction question. Then how you test him? So testing him is very important. Something you taught, something is there in content, knowledge or learning in syllabus, something you taught, some other question you put assessment. Ultimately, all these are not in straight line. That means you are not proving he is following outcome based. So everything must be pakka. That is why course delivery document need to follow course outcomes only, which are based on Blue's taxonomy. Okay. So for your understanding, I am just giving you, just have for 2 minutes a understanding of that. I will explain you what is each individual. This is useful to write. This is useful to write. What you have to look into the table is how many rows are there, how many columns are there, what are the names. Then we proceed further. Okay, now if you look into what I told, psychomotor domain, affectionate domain, not possible. Cognitive process of student, that is the dimension. So a student, when he sits in the classroom, he looks into the knowledge. Knowledge means, in a raw sense, it is a content. So what we can present in content, actually there are so many descriptive knowledge, prescriptive knowledge, whatever knowledge terms comes to your mind, all are correct only. All are correct only. But for presenting effectively the content or knowledge of a particular course, there is a possibility from academic point of view, factual knowledge, conceptual knowledge, procedural knowledge, metacognitive knowledge, 4 rows. Correct? So these content, the aspect of student which sits in the classroom, cognitive aspect, cognitive process, can look into these things, these 4 things, sorry. So first column, there are 6 cognitive parameters under cognitive process: remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, create. For example, a student may remember factual knowledge, the intersection point of this matrix. A student may remember your intention or your ability, you want your student remember factual knowledge, remember conceptual knowledge, remember procedural knowledge, remember metacognitive knowledge. Yeah.
Yes, now it is moving, sir. So far, the slides are not moving.
Okay. Now it is visible?
So far, we are able to see the first slide. Now only it has changed, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
Table is visible?
Yes, sir. Now it is visible, sir.
Okay. Just to go through it.
Yes.
Okay. So what are the knowledge? Knowledge means contents you can impart onto the students in a teaching learning process. Generally, there are several. Nothing is, don't think that other knowledges are not there. But for better bifurcation or categorization, the Bloom categorized into 4 knowledge levels: factual, conceptual, procedural, meta. We will see one by one what it is. But against this, the brain will function, or we encounter brain against this, or cognitive aspect encounters against this content. Those cognitive aspects are 6 types, 6 categories: remember factual, remember conceptual, remember procedural, remember metacognitive, understand factual, understand conceptual, like that, every intersection point. So 6 by 4 into 24 ways it will be there. Now, one most interesting thing is why I kept 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is 1 is part of 2. So when you are talking about 2, there is no point in talking about remember. 2 is part of 3. When you are talking about 3, when you are talking the abilities in the form of apply, something like that, which I will discuss now, there is no point why I have not mentioned understanding. So which everything is subset of higher level. Similarly, row also, everything is part of next row. So if I am asking you how to write a procedural, this one, some content Ohm's law procedure, you cannot say where is the factual knowledge. No. So it is part of it. So this is the table we are only discussing now. Okay, just I want to make you very clear how it is useful. You see, one broader statement you have given. Top is visible now, this slide?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, one statement you have given. I have given a statement. Apply data analytics techniques using R tool, R programming. Because computer science, I have written computer science this one. Now, you have to first underline the noun. Noun goes always, you know that it is a knowledge. It is a knowledge. Correct. Verb goes, apply is verb. Verb means my cognitive as a student. My ability encountered against that knowledge, or tool, data analytics, or tool, techniques. Now, as a statement, you have promised this in your educational outcome. Maybe if it is a specific means your R programming subject course. So your intention is the student must get some procedures. Techniques is a procedure, how to use the software tool R. So he wants to, your intention, you in the sense faculty intention is to apply that procedure to this one. That ability student must acquire. So now you made it very clear, you put it on that. That is what your course outcomes. How to write, we will see that. So now come to knowledge dimension. Don't worry about sub-elements here. Just essentially in a given subject or course, what content is possible, what knowledge is possible. That is what Bloom's done research. That is why this has become popular. So take any subjects, English subject you take. Okay. So first of all, any subjects to have basic elements. Basic elements, student must know to be acquainted with a discipline or solve a problem. Even scientists, they will come to an agreement. These are the basic elements for communication among the scientists. Correct? So it may be terminology knowledge or it may be some details. Terminology generally, suppose music I want to learn, some basic symbols, notes will be there. This way if you put, this way if you put, this way if you put. There is no link between these basic elements. Sun, moon, earth. Sun, moon, earth. There is no relation between sun, moon. There is no defined. Each and if you are doing some related to space or something, you start with what is sun, what is moon, all this stuff. So every subject do have, every course do have some basic elements. So they agreed upon this. Now it may be in the form of symbols or some information, basic information. Second is conceptual knowledge. Now we established the relationship between these notes in music. Sarigama Padanisa, once you establish only, it becomes some concept, some raga. Okay. So the interrelationship among the basic elements within a larger structure that enables them to function together. Planetary motion. You establish the relation between sun, moon, earth, all the planetaries, then you will get a concept of planetary motion. Concept of planetary motion. So it may contain some classification and categories, principles and generalization. Again, everything is part of everything. Some theory and models. So when you are studying planetary motion, if you are identifying new things, you will establish relation between them and you say that it is a principle we have to follow. Similarly, if you are some other thing which cannot be questionable, maybe a theory, you want to show that physically, so you will draw a nice diagram or laboratory, you will show models, structure of planetary motion, all these things. Okay, so I have given you the simple sample examples. What knowledge can be imparted for a given course or subject in a given typical classroom or program or degree course? Is it any doubt? You can ask me. Another two knowledge levels are procedure. This is self-explanatory. How to do something? Suppose you want to calculate velocity of sun. How to do that? How you find out what is the query? What criteria? What kind of algorithm, step-by-step procedures you will use? What are the methods? Algorithms do have fixed answer. Techniques and methods don't have fixed answer. 2-3 answers may be there. Your research method, that is what it is called, research method. One person will identify one outcome, another person will identify another answer with different observations. If it is a fixed answer and fixed input, a plus b whole square, that is an algorithm. That's all. So this situation also comes in a course. This situation also comes in a course. That is why they define it as a procedure. The definition is how to do something, methods of inquiry and criteria for using skills, algorithms, techniques, and methods. So you can think about our planetary motion only. Please go through that slide. Okay. Now, metacognition.
To see the taxonomy table only, sir.
Isn't it? Why?
Slides are not moving, sir.
You are representing to everyone. Okay. Oh. Now this is visible, sir. This is
Yes, sir, we are able to see the knowledge dimension slide, sir.
this one, sir.
Knowledge dimension. Knowledge dimension slide, sir.
Now this slide, sir. Current one slide.
The appearing slide is knowledge dimension slide, sir.
All you have seen table, no? Taxonomy table.
Yes, sir. So this is how an outcome.
This is how outcome. Oh, if I am putting a slide share, it is not coming. Why? Now this one, sir.
The knowledge dimension.
Yes, it is coming. This is what I explained you.
Okay.
I will keep this on the safe side. Otherwise, this one, sir, knowledge dimension. I explained you what is factual, conceptual, and knowledge. You can go through that. Factual is piece of isolated elements which are not relevant, but for any subject we do have some basic grammar. English also. We'll have that, this, noun, what we call adjectives, all this, some information. So then we establish relation between them. That is conceptual. Based on something, it may we may classify or we may establish that relation like Pythagoras theorem, which is the agreement. Side square plus side square, like that, something we will do. We may show the models, planetary motion models. Next is visible, sir. Major types and subset. Another?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So procedural knowledge. In this, as I told now, after establishing relation, how to do something. Planetary motion, how to identify what you call velocity of sun or moon or air, how it is revolution, all these things you are having some procedure. As I told, some step-by-step fixed means it is algorithm. If you are having a different answer, okay, this type of procedural knowledge also you may impart to students with your subjects. Then last one is metacognitive. This is very important to impart to students, but not in our hands. Metacognitive is knowledge of cognition in general as well as awareness and knowledge of own cognition. So essential meaning is, as I mentioned at the beginning, when a student sits in the classroom, these are the various forms of the knowledge we come across from the student point of view. Facts and this one, you will explain, student also will explain to understand the subject. Then you explain the concepts, planetary motion, that is also student point of view, very clear, even with different learning levels. That is why there is a procedure in NAC, we are having slow learners and advanced learners. So after that, what happens, some procedures we establish, he also expect you to have some advantage of how to do calculate velocity, that is okay. But when it comes to other knowledge also, he has to see it. Each student grasping level is different. Each student. In fact, literature says that if you start theory from 10 minutes, a student mind will be drifted every 10 minutes. That is what literature, abroad literature, Indian, nobody studied that. Suppose if you teach with some diagrams, some 16 minutes. Okay. But for our faculty like this, who always busy with accreditation, mind will drift every minute. So how a student is grasping that metacognitive knowledge, we are unable to assess. You are only 10 marks. If you present, you will be very happy. You feel that he has written everything pakka, so give 10 out of 10. But what way he prepared the 10 marks, whether through cheat or through mugging up or through some expanding some key points, he got 10 marks, ability he got. Okay, so student behavior only captured in the form of cognitive dimension. So for that they kept. Okay, these are all about 4 ways of knowledge that is possible in a given classroom, which we call it as a knowledge dimension. How it is useful, what is that we are going to see after cognitive dimension. Okay, I will explain you now cognitive dimension with quickly. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Cognitive dimension. Now, see, these are the mental or cognitive aspects of student. So both only that matrix taxonomy table. Now, all we agreed upon, there is a possibility in a given course 4 knowledge levels can be imparted. So how he sees that? So one is, this is visible now, 6 categories of cognitive process. That's what I am explaining now.
Yes, sir.
What abilities he sees? These are the abilities, actually statements. We need to have cognitive wording there. Okay. So remember is one thing. So what is meant by remembering? Just he will retrieve the information provided by you in the form of instructional message. In the form of instructional message, he will retrieve from long-term memory. How to assess that? That is why you should not use the remember, because next to understand everything, remember is the part. So for assessing this, fill up the blanks. So every assessment we have one form. Fill up the blanks or matching. Capital states in Andhra, capital states and capitals, 2 you have given, left and right. Match them. Such kind of is called recognition. Okay. Recalling also, remember, you have given me some arithmetic operations, how to add 2 numbers. I will recollect from the long-term memory, retrieve. I will use it in somewhere, that is called recalling. Similarly, important thing here is, very important is understand. Understand to have 7 keywords. These are words you can use directly into your course outcomes. How to use, I will explain you. Understand. That means when you are giving lecture, the student will construct meaning from your instructional messages. The instruction may be oral, written, dancing and graphs, animations, anything. In what way he will grasp it? One is interrupt. So the meaning constructed from your this one is interpreting. That means if I give some statements, from that he may write equation of a problem. Okay. He may write some interpret based on some important speeches. He will note down his notes. Then exemplifying. Exemplifying is actually what we are giving in question paper, example. We will write explain, no, that explain in terms of Bloom's taxonomy, it is exemplifying. Give you a concept, Ohm's law, provide an example. Illustrate with example is there, no, that is called exemplifying. Third one is classifying. You may ask, classify particular data. Then you will classify first year student, second year student, third year student, right? Based on some based on some discriminator, first year, second year, based on his class of study. Summarizing essentially, you may ask the question in the form of summarize weather conditions of some Repalle. That means essential characteristics of Repalle weather conditions, some ABC parameter, he will put in single statements. That is why, without missing the important information, if you are writing anything, that is called summary. Inferring means what happens? No, you are taking after some observations data is there, like one of our participants told, some observed data, from that some inference you will write. That means there are number of smokers in this town is 25%, below the age of 45, above the age of 50, like that, based on some data if you call, directly you can use in that subject. Infer the student is capable of demonstrating procedures for inferring or apply some statistical techniques, inferring. Compare questions you may give, compare this and this. Generally what we do know, some 5 similar, 5 non-similar they will write, but that is not the comparison. Suppose if you raise Ramu is a good buy, then again opposite you write similar thing, Ramu is not a good buy. That is not the comparison between two systems. Two systems means suppose water flow pipe is there, electricity circuit is there, electric circuit like Ohm's law circuit, one battery, two resistors like that. So what essentially difference, what is water flow pipe there, what is the current wire is there, what you call that circuit wire. So that way if you write similarities, what essentially it is doing, that is called comparing. Explaining essentially it is very important. If you change any part of the system, how remaining system will affect. In this sense, exemplify is cause effect model. Exemplify is cause effect model. Suppose understanding, you started with some data. Suppose a number of people who are all literary, around 40% are there, around 50% are there, and something like that. Ultimately, they will get some scholarships. Okay, if one part data is changed, how much amount of scholarship to be paid? This is what economics persons will do. That comes under explain. That is what explain. So slight difference when you enter into Bloom's taxonomy. Coming to apply, this is very easy. This is directly a procedure you are applying for a given situation. Okay, given situations are two types. You are applying, suppose Ohm's law, you studied Ohm's law. Simply you don't come out of the classroom, define Ohm's law and come. No, you apply Ohm's law and you will ask them design the circuit and find out the electronic flow. Some procedure is there how to put battery, resistor in the line or pipeline, all this one. That is called known situation. Known situation, if you give any problem, it is called executing. Unknown situation is called implementing. What all we are doing in laboratory is known situation only. That is what the people have to go pass from our graduates. They feel that something they don't know, because always they have to face unfamiliar situation. So implementing is better. That is why textbooks, whatever you are having, exercise they call it as exercise. That means familiar situation only. But it is advisable, suggestible to have some problems in unfamiliar situation. You should give scope from his unscheduled, then only that metacognitive knowledge you are encountering. He does something his own plans. Next, analyze. Analyze is another cognitive dimension which breaks the system into parts. Suppose you are having a banking system. Withdrawal money is there, deposit money is there, withdraw money is there, deposit money is there, correct? Withdraw, deposit, all these are there, correct? So everything is system, you will study everything. Ledger of withdraw, you will study ledger of this one, transfer of money. So for that you will differentiate everything, you will organize everything, and you will attribute your point of view. Withdraw money, he says that it is more with reference to this logic. So that comes under analyze. If any system is breakdown into parts, for example, our motorcycle, you can see, you can divide into smaller parts and you will study the power of engine like that. So you can, if it is a motor subject, if one subject is automobile, you can write one of the course outcome ability as analyze the motor, what you call the chassis part, or analyze the motor capacity techniques or motor capacity concepts. Okay, like that you have to use. And always remember that you cannot write as it is what Bloom's told. Initial time 1 or 2 mistakes is there. Don't go for any accuracy. You have to make this one. Then evaluate. This is very important. There are 2 procedures are there, or 2 things are there. You have to give judgment. The judgment may be against some internal consistency, or from external consistency. Suppose you are teaching an economic subject, yeah, suppose you taught about some inflation rate or this one. So whenever you are calculating, you are giving a judgment, the procedure you applied, followed some economic dictionary or government policies. That is external. Suppose within in your college, if you are deriving anything kind of such kind of index, price index or quantitative methods with reference to your own defined in this one, that is internal. So checking goes to internal consistency. ISO like that is they are external. Internal consistency is you derived your academic calendar, you derived your timetable. Timetable is internal. You derived your own timetable. As the faculty is taking accordingly or not internal. So any subject, if you want to evaluate with the internal standards, you can start with evaluate Ohm's law with reference to our laboratory conditions. That means your laboratory conditions are different. Or testing the some engines, car engines or petrol, how much it will come under laboratory conditions. If you see, it will come in some kind of star mark under laboratory conditions. So internal, external. Next important thing is create. Sixth cognitive dimension is create. Create and metacognitive separate. Suppose you have given a student a project. So your course is having some kind of projects where your intervention is very minimal, cannot be zero in a typical system. Student will execute, all 60 students in the classroom, they will execute a project. Out of that, one or two are what you call some innovative. They would have also done from some existing problems only, but any innovative thing which is can be appreciable within 60. Earlier they defined this create, Bloom's defined, it is an innovative in that particular area, but that is not possible in education system. If I calculate one survey, other person will survey in other parameter and with a new way of thinking and presenting to you, if it is there, it comes under create. So if your subject is a project or field work, you can say that one of the course outcome is create a project report, which essentially triggers with metacognitive knowledge, because your intervention is knowledge. So create project report means his own strategy. So you can map that course outcomes into that. Okay. Now having said this, there are 6 are there. Remember, understand. Under that 7 are there. Then you are having apply. Then you are having analyze. Then you are having evaluate, create. Okay. So these things are the dimensions. Now knowledge 4 rows, you know. Then you know 6 cognitive dimension, abstract way only because of time this one. But now the time, how you merge these two and how you write course outcomes. This is important. That we will see now. Any doubt now you tell me, we will discuss. How you merge both of them is the challenging one for better carrying out the meaning of your broader statements to classroom course outcomes. From their assessment, everything question paper, how you face it, that we can do. Now, I will share that also, how to write course outcomes, so that our agenda will be complete. Always remember that you should start with ABCD model. Simply I will tell ABCD. Is it visible, ABCD model?
Yes, it is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now you can write on your white paper if it is there. A is equal to audience. Audience is equal to college means students, or if you are conducting any workshop outside, participants you can call. So the general first starting statement will be, it is like this: the student will be able to demonstrate. That is common word for all course outcomes. 5 course outcomes you need to write. The student will be able to demonstrate, or the student, the learners able to demonstrate. These only common words for all 5 course outcomes. Now, coming to your course outcome, A is over. B is Bloom's taxonomy behavior. Again, it's the knowledge level. What is the knowledge level you want to impart? You must be very clear. As I mentioned in earlier slide, you want to impart, apply Ohm's law. Apply Ohm's law. So Ohm's law is the noun. So the content you have to underline your course plan, whatever you are teaching. What level of cognitive you want to impart your teaching matters a lot for you. Okay, so that pair of words x comma y like that, you have to put that cognitive comma knowledge. B is equal to cognitive dimension comma knowledge. The student will be able to, cognitive is apply, I want to, my in the sense I am a faculty, my abilities I want to make the student is cognitive apply against the noun knowledge. Correct. Knowledge level what? Procedure of Ohm's law. Correct. Apply Ohm's law. Apply Ohm's law. Another example in the place of B. A is audience common. B is equal to, suppose evaluate. Evaluate. Correct. B is equal to cognitive comma knowledge. So evaluate I will use directly. What is the knowledge content I want to build? So evaluate Ohm's law. Here same example I am taking. In evaluate you are giving judgment. Judgment of what? Circuit. Whether circuit followed electrical principle or not, which are external? Yes. Then you are giving judgment. What judgment? If you change instead of 1 battery, 2 batteries, what happens? Correct. That's all. AB only course outcomes. AB only course outcomes. Remaining CDR conditions, where he has to perform Ohm's law, to degree of which extension. That means under conditions of this many volts electronic flow, it is up to you, it is optional. You can mention all subjects need not have conditions, or then two decimal accuracy of electronic flow calculation. 2 decimal flow of electronic flow calculation. That means essentially the students will be able to demonstrate audience behavior is equal to cognitive dimension comma knowledge, that is evaluate Ohm's law under laboratory conditions to the degree of 2 decimal points. Okay, is it clear? What is ABCD model? This is where course outcomes. If you follow this one, the meaning will be taken as it is from that. After writing course outcomes only, from your syllabus, just you write your lesson plan, what to teach. You will become an excellent teacher. This is what literature. But I am not an excellent teacher. Only Professor R.V.S. Prasad is excellent teacher. But the point here is he followed unknowingly. What to be taught is important. What to be taught is important to know you. You have derived 5 outcomes. Every 5 outcomes, some 7 classes assume that 7 into 5, 35 or 40 plus classes. Remaining some exam, internal quiz, chatting with them, strike or everything put together, you can conclude. Okay, this way you have to plan your lesson plan, right? Now I will show you one example. Okay, I will show you one example. Now you underline here what is ABCD. No, this also I have done, I think. Is it visible?
No, sir.
Yes, visible.
Example slide is visible.
Sir,
Yes. No. Course outcomes slide is only visible. The example slide is not. Now it is visible.
Oh,
okay.
What it is missing? Yeah.
Yes, now it is visible.
You see now, I have given you a course outcome statement. Given a personal computer, MS Word, and a printer, the student will create a 2-page document, data entry as a student, project report, correctly formatted with no spelling. Here, very clear, audience. First you have to pick up audience. Then you have to show behavior. Behavior is equal to cognitive column, comma, what knowledge. Cognitive is two-page dimension, that is the noun. Knowledge is always noun. You underline two-page document. Of course, create is not this create, Bloom's create, it's general create. So that is the knowledge. Your intention is going to apply some procedure of creating. So apply two-page document creation procedure. So ABR compulsory, CDR condition. Of course, here condition also compulsory. You must have a personal computer, and you must have, without the expectation from is no spelling mistake. That is the degree to which you expect the task to be completed. This way you have to write your course outcomes. Once you are master in Bloom's taxonomy table understanding, just I will send you that slide. Only read Bloom's taxonomy. Depth don't go. Whatever reasonably you understand, you present as it is, AB model. That is sufficient. Now, if you go back and see any your available either literature, what Indian literature I presented slides, you will not be satisfied once you know how effectively presents course outcomes. Okay. With this, I conclude. Somewhere also I have given one or two examples. So, write course outcomes properly, teach based on outcomes, test over the outcomes. Then you are proving that students are an excellent abilities, whatever limited classrooms you present. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir.
Now you can ask any doubts are there. I will try to clarify. Yes, sir. Anything?
Queries from the
Which type of question paper is most useful in learning based outcomes? Sir? Which type of question? Yes.
Which type of questions means generally first year among 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, first three are called lower level of learning levels. Higher levels are 4, 5, 6. That means analyze, evaluate, create. So first year out of 3 years degree course, first year lower levels. From second year onwards, you need to move from 3, 4, 5, 6. That is the typical question paper setting based on same vocabulary. Then only it will transfer the statement which you visualize at the beginning of the course.
Thank you.
Any doubts, sir? Otherwise, I will conclude because one more meeting. I told you, no, see, a government only I am helping. The reason being, I know your limited resources. My suggestion, if it is going for NAC, you form a big chain of government affiliated colleges only. Again, autonomous situation is different. You cannot, both manuals are different. So then, reasonable time, I hope I can give some guidelines if it is required for you, or if you can fill up on your own, it is up to you. Have a group of people. That is always best for me to take you to proper shape of affiliated. If no doubts are there, I will be very thankful all of you organizers. I am very, very sorry for first person who contacted me, yes, Bob, I think.
Yes,
he tried Padam 2-3 times, Papa. I could not answer him properly. Definitely, I hope your college will go with limited resources well.
Thank you, sir. Now, I request Sri R. Ravikiran, sir, lecturer in political science, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Narsai Garu. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So, good afternoon to one and all. Respected principal of this college, Dr. T. Ravichandra Kumar Garu, a resource person, learned resource person, Professor Dr. T.V. Suresh Kumar Garu, dear participants and colleagues, good afternoon to one and all. It gives me immense pleasure to propose vote of thanks to this one-day national webinar. At the outset, it is worth mentioning that it is really very useful topic in the present context. I hope all of our participants must have added something to their existing knowledge after listening to Dr. Suresh Kumar Garu. Let me first thank our Honorable Commissioner Garu for granting permissions to government degree colleges to organize such webinars. And I also thank our Principal Garu, Dr. T. Ravikumar Garu, for planning and encouraging our IQAC to organize this seminar. And I also thank our resource person on behalf of the college, Professor Dr. Tvarakavi Venkata Suresh Kumar Garu, for joining us despite his busy schedule and for his interaction with our participants. Sir, I am really happy to see you after a long gap.
Thank you, thank you.
Almost 10 years of gap.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm very much, I'm very closely associated with Professor Subbarao Garu, your elder brother.
Yeah.
And sir, it's really an interactive session, and we are really happy to have you here as a resource person. And we look forward for more interactive sessions like this with our government degree colleges. As you suggested, we are also going to have
better, because don't depend on governments. No government, not only Andhra, any government cannot do anything, because this is a conceptual framework, only our knowledge to take further. So all come together, we can do. I have done for a couple of 12 government colleges earlier, years back. Some of them applied for NAC and got. That may be the best approach.
Yeah. At least we try to have it at district level, sir, so that we have district resource centers through DRCs. We can plan such interactive sessions so that you can interact with all government degree colleges at a district level in a single session. So we will take your suggestion, and really, sir, we really thankful to you for joining us despite your busy schedule. Despite your busy schedule.
This you have taken minutes, no? It may be IQAC quality initiative.
Noted, sir. It is noted and well taken. And once again, thank you, sir, for joining us despite your busy schedule. You told yesterday night also you have today morning one session and another meeting followed by another meeting.
University from Andhra only. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I thank our IQAC coordinators, faculty members, and especially Department of Computers for their technical assistance. And last but not the least, I thank each and every participant across the country for joining us and for making this seminar a grand success. Thank you. Thank you very much once again. On behalf of the college and IQAC, I thank each and every person, those who are present here. Thank you, and over to our IQAC coordinator. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, Randy. Thank you, Randy. Thank you all.
Once again, I thank Professor
Thank you,
Suresh
sir.
Kumar
Thank you
Garu.
all. Hope for the best. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
I also thank the participants. So with this, we would like to conclude the session. So one more announcement to the participants. We will place the feedback link to your respective mail IDs. So by filling these feedback forms, you can get your certificates. Thank you.